Yeah. Survivor Specialist Phil and Alexa are back. Survivor Game Changers episode 6 predictions and power rankings episode. Another tribe swap. We got Exile Island. We have the return of a Survivor player that probably doesn't have any effect on the game, but they're coming back for this episode. We don't know the tribes again, just like with the last time. CBS has been a lot quieter this time than they've been in the past. So we're really going into this pretty blind. So this will be a fun time. 15 people left. Going to be really fun to rank. I'm confident in one person not going home this week, and that's, we'll get to there. What do you think, Alexa?
Wow, you almost just spoiled your power rankings before we even started. Yeah, I am not so confident in my power rankings because we don't know what's going on. We know that Jatia might come back and just get rid of everyone's rice and then leave. Who knows? But that's
the most likely scenario.
That's probably what's going to happen. I like going into this, blind. I like it. I think there was a comment on our most recent video, and someone said, I want to shake things up. I want new dynamics, and we're going to get it this week, and I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see who the person coming back is. It seems like it's going to be Boston Rob, which really isn't shocking at all. I don't think that they're actually playing the game. I'm sure he'll just help somebody on Exile maybe. I don't know if I necessarily like this. We'll see what happens. I think one of our commenters, we'll probably get to it soon, said that they think it's Boston Rob coming back to congratulate Ozzy on breaking his record. But I don't know if Ozzy will have hit that number this episode, so we'll have to see how that goes.
I think he is hitting it soon. I think he's hitting it within – so this episode encompasses 3 days. I think he is hitting it sometime in the next 3 days.
Okay. I mean, I didn't look at it. I just saw that comment recently. But I think that this was something they had planned. I doubt that this is just to come congratulate somebody on beating a record, because I don't think that's what they would do. I think that this is like somebody on whoever goes to Exile is going to get the help of Boston Rob. Hopefully it's Andrea, considering their relationship, at least on Redemption Island. Anytime we can get Andrea having to go in an uncomfortable spot, right?
So you're unsurprised by this. I'm very surprised by this. Not the fact that it might be Boston Rob, even though he did confirm it on Twitter, but he confirmed it on April Fool's Day. Mm-hmm. And I don't trust anyone on April Fool's Day. I'm buying it more and more because I haven't heard anything else that would make more sense. But I am surprised by this. I know Jeff loves Boston Rob, and I know that Boston Rob is one of the most popular players. No matter how anyone feels about him, you can't argue that, he's extremely well liked. He's very well known. But has anything like this been done? Have they ever brought back a contestant to hang out? I'm surprised because I feel like this is a very non-Survivor, not even twist, event to happen in the show. But this doesn't happen.
Yeah, it doesn't. And I know like with the Boston Rob thing, obviously it was on April Fool's Day. So this very well could be fake. But it just seems like that makes the most sense for Survivor. Now, granted, he said CBS let him reveal that. There's no way that makes sense. But being on April Fool's Day, maybe he could pull one. There's no way CBS ever stays mad at Boston Rob, the amount of money that Boston Rob has made that network. So there's no way they ever stay mad at him. So who knows if he's trying to pull one on them. I don't really know. I'm going to be honest, and I don't know if this is the right thing to say here, but I don't care with who comes back. I really don't care. I feel like this is going to be, like you just said, it's so un-Survivor that it's just why?
It feels very gimmicky. That music? You know what? I think my roommates are watching that Big Little Liars show.
Oh man, that sounded like that was wild. That was loud.
Yeah, and I'm gonna text them and tell them to tone it down a little bit. But anyways, as we listen to this this odd church music in the background, it feels so gimmicky. It really, I said this last time. It feels like a reality show, and I know Survivor is technically a reality show, but what I love so much about Survivor is that it is very natural. These people are stripped down, put on an island, and forced to live together, and I feel like this just really makes it. I don't know. It just gimmicky is the word that comes to mind.
Yeah, it's true. And I think Survivor Israel did this with Rupert, where Rupert came and was a reward. And we had kind of joked about the Survivor is going to be a reward, but I actually do think the Survivor is going to be a reward. I mean, it's so weird, but I don't even know necessarily if it's going to be a reward. I think it's just going to be somebody who helps out with Exile Island. I don't know if I like it. We'll see how it plays out. I'm just not super pumped. Jeff said it's something that they've been trying to come up with for years, and they finally got the right scenario. Like he says every time with every twist. So we'll see how it goes.
I mean, I know they mentioned that it was, returning player from a previous season. I'm just glad it's not anyone from this season. I want Tony back. I want Malcolm back. Yeah, but that's not the way this game works.
Exactly. But on to the more pressing matter, because I'm sure there's going to be questions like crazy about all that fun. We're going to update power rank, or we're not going to, not power rankings. We're going to update the boot list. We're going to update the prop bets. We're going to update Eliminator, which nobody got eliminated. So there's your update on Eliminator. This week, nobody went down. And that's it. We'll update all of that. The fantasy games. I'm pretty sure Sandra was MVP. Debbie was LVP. Those were pretty cut and dry. And yeah, now we have to jump into the power rankings. And on another episode, it's always tough when they swap. But in the past, we've had like a little bit of a hint. I mean, even last time, we knew the entire new Nuku tribe. This time, we don't know anything. And I'm sure people have looked at screen caps a million times and deciphered who's on what tribe. But I haven't seen anything about it. So the only one I'm 100% confident not going home, because they have an idol, because they know that their tribe doesn't like them, I'm going Troyzan at 1. Just don't see him going home in any situation. He's not JT. He will not play this idol here. I said in my defense of JT, I said he plays to win. He doesn't care about getting one day further. He's looking at, if I play this idol now, will I win the game? And he probably didn't think he would. Troyzan's trying to get one day further, which, I'd probably side with Troyzan on this more than JT's mentality, but Troyzan hasn't. I just think Troyzan's playing his idol. If he goes to tribal and feels he's in danger.
See, I mean, if I have Troyzan at number 1 as well, I don't see Troyzan playing his idol anytime soon. I think Troyzan is in a good position, and his idol is a safety net. He has one connection with the current Tavua tribe. He has this connection with Sarah. I think she's going to be I think she'll be a worthy ally for him. I think they're going to stick together. And even if he doesn't end up on a tribe with her, he can go back to his old Mana allies. I think he's in a really good position. And on these tribes, they're going to be kind of small, so every number is going to count. I think he has enough connections now where the idol isn't an afterthought, but it's not the forefront of his game right now. That's what makes him so powerful. The idol is secondary now because he's going back to his old tribe, and he has at least one in with his new tribe.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I don't know how these are going to shake up, but if he can end up on a tribe with Sarah, a tribe with Sandra, it depends on how it's going to shake for him. But as long as he doesn't end up with like the 5 people from his tribe or the 4 people from his tribe now that aren't named Sarah, I think Troyzan's fine. I agree. I don't think he's going to have to play his idol. I'm just saying that if he feels in danger, he'll play it. So having that safety net on a swap week, put him at number 1, feels so confident that he's not going anywhere.
And if he's in a situation, so I counted, there's 9 original Nukus left and 6 original Manas left. So not great numbers for Mana. But if he finds himself in a situation where he is automatically in the majority and Ozzy, Sari, Zeke, Andrea, whoever is in a minority on his tribe, he now has power over them. So I don't see any situation where Troyzan goes home. I think he's in such a good position.
Yeah, I agree. And it makes me a little nervous for Zeke, although I have Zeke super high here. But I am a little nervous for Zeke just because Troyzan can get the power over any of them. And if he I don't think he's going to tell anybody he has the idol. We saw him not tell Sarah last week, but he could really go after one of these people. But my number 2, I have Sierra, because I think Sierra, she's not in danger. She got targeted by Sandra that one time because they thought that she would never have the idol. So now they're not going to target her. They don't think she's the strongest. They don't think she's not going to be the weakest on a tribe. She seems like she knows how to get along with people. I think Sierra's absolutely fine, and Sierra's going to keep moving through.
All right, we didn't even talk. I didn't even talk to you before we went live here, but I have Sierra at my number 2 as well. I think she has proved she's great in challenges. She does a really good job. She'll be such an asset for any tribe that she's on, and she's proven that she's very powerful in the number 2 role. I know that she and Brad probably have a very equal relationship in their current tribe, but he is seen as the number 1, and she, being number 2, is the best position you could possibly be in. So she's got her advantage, and that hasn't been mentioned. I feel like they're going to bring that back probably around 13. We're only at 15. I don't see any situation where Sierra goes home. She's very adaptable. She's in really good graces with her tribe. Debbie doesn't hate her. Debbie has problems with other people. I think Sierra's in a really, really good position.
Yeah, I would be really surprised if Sierra went home. Staying with that tribe, I got Ty at 3 because Ty. Yeah, he's wishy-washy and all that, but he's not seen as a threat. He's not the weakest. Ty's gonna hit this merge easily. I think. I don't really see a situation where he goes. Plus, he's coming from a tribe that's already viewed as probably the like. I know Nuku's down to 4, but they are also down to 4 of Sandra, Michaela, Aubrey. Even though these people haven't seen Michaela play, they're getting a good glimpse at her personality. Varner, who people think is dangerous. So I think that this Mana tribe is already viewed as the weakest, and I think people might try to use Ty as opposed to actually have Ty to try to target Ty. And on top of that, Ty found the clue to the idol. I think he's going to end up finding this idol at some point, especially if he knows he's in danger. He'll figure it out. And I don't think Ty's in really any danger.
I have Ty a little bit lower. I have Ty at number 6, actually. I know I'm going all over the place here. But he isn't a threat, but he is looking for these idols. And at least on his beach, he's kind of the only one. He just wanders off and finds these clues. He's very good at finding idols. I think he can't be so obvious if he's not on a tribe that he's very close with. So that's the only reason I'm a little funky on him. He's very obvious when he goes and looks for idols, and he's proven that he'll just give them to people. So, or obviously give them to his allies. So I think that puts him in a funky position. I have Zeke at number 3, actually, and I'm going to keep Zeke pretty high. You know, I've no reason for him to go home. He's in either a majority or a swing position, essentially no matter what. I would like him to be on a tribe with Michaela because I want to see how they'll interact together. I really don't know how they would play. And naturally, I think they would try to work together, but I think Zeke's in a really good position. He's very open-minded. I think right now he's still in the I'm going to play with whoever's interested in playing with me, and I don't see him getting caught in the middle. I think he'll be around after this episode.
Yeah. I have Zeke at 4. I'm using him as my eliminator this week too because I'm pretty confident that he's not going. His edit hasn't picked up all that much, and although he's coming off the last season, he wasn't exactly the biggest character in that season. But when they do people who play back-to-back seasons, they always get overblown. James and Amanda, Russell, Rupert, they always get overblown on the back-to-backs. Malcolm. So Zeke, Michaela's kind of picking up a little bit here because of last week was crazy. Zeke's going to pick up a little bit more before they get rid of him. Otherwise, it's going to be really disappointing that it's we just saw back-to-back seasons of Zeke, and what did we really see? Yeah, he likes all these people. He's not the weakest in challenges. He's proven to be great at puzzles. I really like Zeke's positioning. I don't think he's the first person Troyzan targets too, if for some reason Troyzan decides to go after these people from Tavua. And if as long as there's one other person on the tribe other than Sarah with Troyzan and Zeke, and I don't think the other tribes are going to target Zeke either because I don't think they really understand him all that much, and I think the people who have played with him like him enough.
Yeah, and he seems to be pretty likable right now. I mean, the thing with these Tavua members that haven't been to tribal council, we know so little about them. So almost because we don't know anything about them, it's a naturally positive edit. There's nothing, I don't know if there's any negativity other than the tiny Suri and Ozzy situation that we had at the premiere. They've all proven to like each other because they're clearly good teammates. They're winning all the time. So yeah, I have Zeke pretty high. Zeke's at number 3, and I go with Sarah at number 4 for similar reasons. She's now, we got a couple minutes with her. We got a confessional again where she talks about being a criminal. I know that's going to be her shtick this season. But she's proven that she wants to play. That's why I have her at number 4 rather than 1, 2, or 3. Because if she's going to come out kind of hot, that could burn her at some point. That could burn her before Zeke, before Sierra, who are playing a little more quieter of a game. But Sarah, her arc is just starting. She's got this thing going with Troyzan. She's in a good position with her current Tavua members. I don't see her having too much of a problem integrating into whatever new tribe she ends up in.
Yeah, we have a very similar top here, and I have Sarah at 5, and Sarah's in a weird position because I could easily sit here and say Sarah got some confessionals last week because they're building her up to go this week. She didn't have much because she's going to go after getting screwed by a tribe swap, and not even screwed, just goes home because of a tribe swap. So she doesn't have much of a story. She only went to what, Has she gone to tribal council yet? She hasn't even gone to tribal council yet.
No.
No, so she hasn't even gone to tribal council yet. So, like, yeah, they don't have to build her up. Maybe she goes this week. But I just feel like with Sarah, because they're playing up the criminal versus cop thing so much, she's got to last longer than this because we haven't seen her actually do that. And I said this in Second Chances when the first confessional Joe Anglim had was, last time I failed, I wanted to make the family reward. As soon as the family reward was coming up, I was like, this is it for Joe. He's done. Because that was his story. And I feel like Sarah's story involves her being some sort of criminal. Since we've seen zero of that so far, we're going to see more than just one episode, and she's not going to go in that only episode. So we're being set up for more Sarah coming down the line.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I'm already, like, every time I hear the words cop and criminal, I'm like, I get it. But I think I'm getting sick of it because I haven't seen it yet. I think every episode she's mentioned it, but I haven't seen it yet. So I know it's coming. It'll probably be enjoyable when it comes, but because it hasn't happened yet, she's not going home. So that's who I have. That's why I have Sarah up at number 4.
Who do you got at 5?
So my number 5 is Aubrey. I have Aubrey very high, which I'm a little funky about, but Aubrey is not really tied to anyone right now. And I think that's a good position for her to be in. She could stay with Sandra, Varner, and Michaela. How many of them are going to be on the tribe that she goes on to? And I think she can play both sides. No, she doesn't have any enemies. No one dislikes her. She's very, very likable. People, I think Tony came up to her and he said, hey, we got to work together. We got to be a threat alliance. People approach her. She's very approachable. And I think since she knows that she's on the bottom of her current tribe, she'll go over to the new tribe and say, hey, I don't want to be with them. Let me be with you. She's got no enemies. She's playing a quiet game. She's a fairly popular player that came onto the season. We've heard so little from her. We're going to get more of Aubrey. I know we're going to get more of her.
What I'm impressed with Aubrey, and I have her lower than you, but I don't think she's really going to go this week. But what I'm impressed with Aubrey is that the way she reacted last week after she got completely blindsided with that vote. She wasn't furious. She was just like, you guys are good. Good job. That was great. Wow, that was crazy. Good job. She gets like the game part of it, and she doesn't get like Michaela did. Like Aubrey will never probably work with Michaela now because of how Michaela acted when JT went. And yeah, it was funny and it was good show and it was all of that. And deserved it for as awful as he was being that entire time, how arrogant he got. But Aubrey can sit there and look at that and say, I don't want to work with Michaela because Michaela, I'm going to be next on her list. She just got rid of JT. Now she's going to want to go get rid of me. So as long as Aubrey, the majority of a different tribe, which it's going to be because there's only 4 of her tribe left, as long as that happens for Aubrey, I think is fine because she can just go play with them. She can find herself in a swing position. She doesn't have to stay with this new Nuku tribe. And I don't think she will. I don't think she wants to. And I know we don't really know how well she fit in with her original Mana tribe because we didn't hear much from her. And Tony's gone and Malcolm's gone, who we heard her talk with the most. I just still feel like Aubrey has ins to play this game.
And if you're put on a tribe, if you have a tribe swap and you have a majority of old Nuku and you have, let's say, Aubrey and Sandra or Aubrey and Varner or Aubrey and Michaela, why do you get rid of Aubrey before them? Jeff Varner is known as a schemer. Sandra is the self-explanatory. Michaela will probably rub someone the wrong way. Why get rid of Aubrey when you could get rid of the other original Mana member who's on your tribe?
Yeah, and another thing, too, is like one of Aubrey's biggest adversaries coming into the season was Debbie. But no one's taken Debbie seriously anymore after last week. So anybody from that Mana tribe, if Aubrey ends up on a tribe with Debbie, who's probably against Aubrey, we saw that based on her preseason stuff, much trouble because nobody's going to take Debbie seriously that just played with her. Sierra's not. Brad's not. Ty is done with her. Like, they're all done with Debbie. So Debbie's just lost credibility there. And I think Aubrey, I would love to see Aubrey and like Hayley end up on the same tribe where they're both down and out and they can end up putting themselves in a power position. And that's why these changes and swaps happen nowadays.
And they probably will come together because Hayley doesn't have much of a connection to her old tribe because she's been so separated from them for so long. And that Sandra, Jeff Farner, Michaela group, although they're probably going to be broken up, they're very tight. Hayley was never really a part of their plan. So Hayley and Aubrey will probably naturally work together if they're on the same tribe.
And they're both smart players. So I have them both lower. But just because I do think that they can still end up on the wrong side of the numbers, my 6 is Ozzy.
Wow.
Heroes edit. Still getting like a heroes edit from Ozzy. And my thing is right now, whichever tribe he goes to here, I don't think they vote him out right away. I really don't. I for some reason, I feel like Ozzy isn't going to get booted here because they're going to be like, oh, if we lose, we want to keep him. And I think his tribe really liked him. I know Suri was, they played up the Suri versus Ozzy thing, but I think that Ozzy fit in pretty well with them. I mean, if he ends up on a tribe with Andrea, him and Andrea get along. And even if he ends up on a tribe with Suri, I think Suri is smart enough to be like, I need to save myself, and saving Ozzy is probably in my best interest. I think Ozzy is still like lined up to be a merge boot, but I just don't think Ozzy goes here.
I have Ozzy a little bit lower. Was that your number 5 or number 6 you had Ozzy at?
6.
6, okay. I have Ozzy in my bottom half. I guess I get where you're coming from on that. I think my counter argument is he can't hide anymore. We lost Tony, we lost Malcolm, we lost JT. We are losing alpha males, and Ozzy is one of the few still standing. And he's Ozzy. He's, this is slowly becoming a more individual game, and that's not very good for him. I have him a little bit lower. Down for number 6, I have Ty. And I'm actually a little I'm looking at this thinking, wow, Ty has more of a chance to go home than Aubrey, according to what I wrote. But he's playing the game. I already said this, but he's looking for idols and he's looking actively. And why would Brad get rid of him? But I think if you're in a situation where you could vote for Brad, who's the obvious choice, they're going to just throw it at Ty instead. But I still overall think Ty is very safe because we're only at number 6. But yeah, I have Ty's my number 6, and then my number 7, I'm going with Andrea, and my reasoning is why is she going home? Why would she go home? She's doing perfectly fine. She's great in challenges. She's assimilating really well. We have no arc for her yet. I've said this earlier, but I don't think on this season we're going to have any invisible edits. I think she's going to come out at some point. I just don't see any reason for Andrea to go home right now.
Yeah, I have Andrea at 7 too, and what I want to bring up is your Ozzy point again, just real quick. The alphas, it's a great point with the alphas going down. We've lost Tony, Caleb, Malcolm, JT. Those are all alpha male, challenge beast type players, even if they're not great at challenges. They're challenge beast type players.
And you could say Sierra has the alpha personality.
Exactly. So, but I think Ozzy does a really good job of not having the alpha personality. I think that's one thing he's grown to be. And he's going out and he's getting all of this fish and he's fishing for them and all that, which seems alpha, but he's not doing it in a Rupert type way where it's like, I'm doing this because I'm the greatest thing ever. He's doing it in a way where it's like, I know this is going to help me. And he's quiet about it. He just brings it back, gives it to him. They're the ones who congratulate him. I remember when Rupert was doing it, it was like, they should be thanking me. Ozzy's like, hopefully this keeps me around. So I think Ozzy's better with his personality in that regard, at least.
I think Ozzy has grown a lot as a player. I think in his pregame stuff, I thought he didn't because he was like, I'm just going to provide. I'm going to win challenges. And I was like, you need more than that, Ozzy. But from what we've seen, he isn't cocky. He's very well received by his tribe. Yeah, he brought fish and he was like, I'm going to go back out because this is a thing that I really like doing. And we finally got to hear about why Ozzy likes to fish and why he likes to be out there. Yeah, I think in the alpha male genre, he is a pretty interesting character. He's, but I'm looking at the list and I see Troy, Brad, and Ozzy as our alpha males. There aren't many left. They're all.
And if Troy's an alpha male, look at what Troy did in that one challenge. I mean, Troy's not really an alpha male. He's like 15 years past being an alpha male. Like really.
Yeah. Well, he's the uncle who takes Thanksgiving. He doesn't actually have. I
mean, really. Yeah. I'm not trying to be insulting there. I just mean that. No. But Andrea. Oh, you can go if you want. I was just going to bring up Andrea.
No, Andrea number 7.
Yeah, because we both cut her off. But that's who we have at our 7. And Andrea, the only way she goes, I think, right now is if like Troy like really is like about to go home and Andrea is the one leading the charge and Troy plays the idol to get rid of Andrea, which is something they've kind of played up a little bit. And I do think Andrea has a good chance of getting idled out of this game. But I think Andrea's I think she's smooth right now. I think she's fine for now.
Yeah, she's golden. For my number 8, I have, so I guess our kind of halfway point, I have Brad. And I this is because of the swap. I think he'd be a lot higher if we weren't swapping. He's in control right now, and being in control going into a swap is never a good thing. He's proven to be very likable, but he's an obvious threat. He's the leader of their tribe, and he's good in challenges. He's a natural leader. You saw a bit of him because we had this 2 tribal councils. Other people got a sneak peek into his game. So I don't know if he's going home, but I'm not super comfortable with him just because he is a clear threat on a new tribe.
Yeah, I have Brad at 10. My thing with Brad is last week we saw the whole Debbie blow up. And I already said Debbie's not going to be taken seriously by anybody, which helps him. But if somebody needs an excuse and they're like, Brad is the head of that alliance, he was the head of that Mana tribe, let's get rid of Brad now while we have the chance before we hit the merge and he just goes on this run as an excuse. Or you can use somebody as an excuse. And I think that there's a good chance that could happen. I don't necessarily think it will. That's why I have him at 10 and I have 5 people below him. But Brad's in a tricky spot here because he needs to not come across as the leader. And I think he's doing a very good job at being sort of humble this season, but it's still really hard to not come across as the leader when it's pretty apparent to everybody that you are.
Yeah, I think he'll be okay, but because it's just so obvious, just because of the way he carries himself, it's going to be a little tough for him. I don't know what is going on out there.
I mean, that was wild, whatever that noise was.
Let's go on to number 9.
Well, my number 8 was Aubrey. We already talked a lot about Aubrey. My number 9 was Michaela. I think Michaela's in danger because she's loud, but I think Michaela's in danger once she hits the merge. And I think this is the season Michaela hits the merge. And I really worry for all these other survivors who don't yet realize how good Michaela is at challenges. They haven't really let her do too much this season. It seems like she's taking more of the, but I'm not speaking up and saying it, so I'd rather just say, I rewatched the episode, and she was mad. I rewatched the episode. She was mad that they made her dig. Even though she said, I'll dig. She says, I'll dig the effing bags or whatever it is. She's mad that they're having her dig. She wants to do the balance beam part, but she says, I'll dig the damn bags. Whatever it was, doesn't matter. But she was not happy, and that's why she slammed it down. The second time when she got it, she gave it to them because she realized what she was doing, and she realized she needed to calm down. People don't realize how good she is at challenges yet. As long as she can hit that merge, she's fine. And I don't think she goes here. She's loud, but Jeff and Sandra are on her side. And I don't know what Zeke is going to be like, but I feel like more people are going to be on Michaela's side. Or they're not necessarily going to be like, we need to get rid of her now because she's almost putting herself in a GOAT position in terms of her personality.
See, I am not feeling good about Michaela. I have her almost as low as you can go because I think she has made it very obvious how loud she is. And you make a good point with her almost becoming a GOAT to take to the end. But now she's just bothering people. And the JT thing, yeah, she was playing it up. But Aubrey, she left a bad taste in Aubrey's mouth. It's just I love Michaela, but I'm not feeling good about her. That was amazing TV. But long term, that she's lucky that it was a very small tribe. And 2 of the people on that tribe were in on the joke with her.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what helped her is that she knew she had the upper hand. So who's your 9? Who's your 9 and 10? Because 10's Brad. So who do you have at 9 and 10 for you?
Oh, you have Brad at number 10. Number 9, I have Hayley. And I think I could have her even a little bit higher. I think Hayley is in a really good position. She's going, I think because of this Debbie situation, she officially moved up from 4th place in her tribe to from the bottom. So, and Brad speaks very highly of her. Her and Sierra seem to have some form of relationship. Or at least more so than they did. She is in an okay place in her current tribe, and she is going to go on a tribe that probably has a couple of her original Mana tribe mates on it, and they're going to be desperate. They're going to need something. So Hayley could find herself in either a swing or a majority position, depending on which way she wants to go. Why, like, if she's in this middle, she's not the one that anyone's going to gun for. And you know what? If she's not Debbie, so a lot of people are going to get rid of Debbie, at least from her current tribe, before they get rid of her.
Yeah, I mean, since you're talking to Hayley, I'll just say she's my number 11. I think I was surprised, like, early on. I was like, I hope Hayley's getting a redemption arc. It seemed like she was being set up as the underdog who can overcome. But then again, in Worlds Apart, she was being set up as the underdog too, and then she ends up going right at the merge. I do feel like this is the beginning of Hayley's game, though. She survived what she had to survive. She made sure Caleb went home. She was clearly on the bottom. Debbie put herself in a worse position. Now they're swapping. I think Hayley's going to end up in a power position here. I think she, much like Aubrey, can play either side. And even if I don't think her tribe dislikes her, other than Debbie, I don't think her tribe dislikes her at all. I think she just ended up on the wrong side of the numbers. And I also think this Mana tribe, if they're smart, says we need to get rid of some of these Nuku people to make sure they can't just align against us, because it is 9-6. And yeah, they might have only played for 6 days together, but you don't want to give them any reason to reconnect. And I think that if they're all smart and somehow can get a majority, they might say, let's get rid of, a Debbie or whoever on Nuku. Just get rid of somebody from original Nuku. And, I don't know.
I don't know if Hayley, I don't know if the word redemption arc is what I'd refer to it as, because she hasn't done anything wrong. I think she's played a very good game so far. And especially as someone who has been on the bottom for the majority of her game, she hasn't scrambled. She's remained very calm. She holds herself together. She carries herself so well. And I think that is such a good quality to have as someone who is a bit of a floater right now and doesn't have an Amanda to her Todd. She's a floater, and she's somehow been in a very good position at playing a one-man show. I'm really high on her. I know I have her at less than half. I don't know.
I have her at 11, and I'm really hoping that she pulls it off, because that is, I don't know, Hayley. I've always liked Hayley, and I'm hoping she can redeem herself on this season. And right now, it seems
herself.
Like
you make it sound like she gave an idol to Russell in her last season.
Well, no. I just mean a lot of people don't feel like she should be on this season. Then she gets in a situation where she's just on the wrong side. She's on that tribe. She's on the wrong side. But I think she's playing a pretty good game. And I think in terms of redeeming herself, I just mean in terms of like actually getting to strategize, actually getting to prove that she belongs. I think if Hayley can hit the merge here and maybe make a move or two, like she's proving, like putting her on this season. I didn't think it was to begin with, but I think she's doing a good job of like playing this as well as that. She's been dealt a pretty bad hand.
And it's just so funny.
Well.
It's just so funny because she doesn't think she should be on the season. I think right before the premiere, they asked every single player who shouldn't be on the season, and she said, like, me, I don't know why I'm here. It was awesome.
Yeah, I hear you. Is that coming through now? Can you hear that TV or no?
Television?
Yeah, can you hear another television?
No. Are you watching TV while talking to me? That's pretty rude.
No, it's coming through my wall. I just want to make sure people can't hear it. Let somebody comment in the comments.
I think the ambulance was drowning out the TV.
There you go. Exactly. I just want to make sure we don't have like a consistent whatever's going on here. Okay, so who are your 10 and 11? Since I'm already up to 11 now. So who do you got?
Okay, yeah, you're going way too fast. My 10 and 11 I have them for the same reason. I have Suri at number 10, Ozzy at number 11, because they can't hide. These big threats, we are running out of big threats, and Suri and Ozzy are no longer going to be on the tribe that just wins all the time and has peanut butter and just has lots of fun together. That's not going to happen anymore, and they're going to have to start playing the game. Not saying that they haven't played the game, but they're going to have to start making relationships and just to survive. And I think that's going to be very tough, especially for Suri, because she struggled at the beginning. I think that this past period of time that she's been on Tavua, she's been able to regain her confidence in the game that she can play. But there's still Suri and Ozzy. They're the only 4-time players other than Boston Rob. They're some of the most well-known players of all time. It's just hard for them to hide. Rupert, you're right.
Had to yell Rupert because otherwise somebody else was going to do it for me.
Someone's
and I'd
going
rather yell at you than somebody else.
No, please take the wheel. All right, Suri and Ozzy 10 and 11, pretty self-explanatory.
No, and I think that's good reasoning. Like you said, they can't hide. I have I mean, I'll kill mine because why not? 12 Varner, because it leads to your point. So 12 Varner, because I think he has shields, but he could end up on the wrong side. His tribe loses. They vote him off because they know he's tight. He could end up on the tribe with Aubrey, who says, this guy's tight with Sandra. We got to get rid of Varner. And he's weak at challenges, so why not? 13, I have Debbie because of last week and because she's always going to be Debbie. And then what? Sorry. And then at 14 and 15, I have Suri and Sandra for exactly what you just said. They can no longer hide. They are Suri and Sandra. So I have Suri ahead of Sandra. But I think if one of their tribes loses, Suri has not been to a tribal yet. That's why she's still in this game. Suri hits the merge. I am like Suri could make it very far. But if Suri goes to a tribal beforehand and isn't on the same tribe as Sandra, why are you letting her make it another week? She's a great strategist. You don't need her in your alliance because you know that she can turn on you in a heartbeat. And she's weak at challenges. So that's why Suri and Sandra, same reasons for both being on.
You have Suri below Debbie? You think Suri goes home before Debbie does?
No, I don't necessarily think Suri goes home before Debbie does. I just think there's a better chance of Suri going home this week than Debbie.
But that's like kind of what I said, right?
No. You're saying in the long term, Suri could turn it around easier than Debbie. I'm just saying this week, you're coming into a tribe swap. This week, Sandra or Suri is going home.
See, I think
I think after this week, tribe dynamics develop, then Suri might be able to turn it around. Debbie won't. So I think Debbie could go sooner. But initially, if you go to tribal council and you have Suri on your tribe, and you know that a merge is in the not too distant future, you're going to let Suri, who's bad at challenges, get through? Really? Instead of Debbie? Debbie's no threat.
If you have Suri and Debbie sitting at tribal council, we've seen what happens with Debbie. They don't even care. They could probably take Debbie anyone could take Debbie to the end and win. But Debbie it's past the status of being just a goat. Debbie in her last episode was off her rocker. She is so unreliable. Suri can at least be reliable for the time being. Debbie is, I'm very close to you. I have Varner 12, Michaela 13, Debbie 14, Sandra 15. I think Debbie absolutely cannot recover. Suri at least has allies.
Man, you got to say yours again, and then I'll keep yelling at you. I'm trying to type this out.
Oh, I thought you couldn't hear me because of the music. No,
totally
Suri's got allies. Yeah, Suri, I'm not feeling hot on Suri, but people like her. She's got something going for her. Debbie has absolutely nothing going for her right now.
But the thing is, people might like her, but how do we know that people even are liking Suri right now? Yeah, Zeke likes her. We get that. But she hasn't gone to a tribal, so we don't actually know if she has an alliance right now. And in that first episode, she was desperate. And yeah, we never had to see her go, but if they go to that first tribal, Suri is gone. So yeah, Tavua is like this big happy family because they have Troyzan, who's an easy boot. But if Suri gets swapped to a tribe and you lose on that tribe and you don't have Sandra, I don't know how you let Suri get by that vote.
But I don't think anyone in Tavua dislikes her. If there was any major strife on that camp, we would have seen it. All of the confessionals that we had, all the scenes that we had in Tavua were fishing and peanut butter and this like one kind of alliance thing. They were camp life because if there was tension, if there was a problem, we would have seen it. How many Suri confessionals have we gotten since Tavua existed? Like 2, maybe 1. There's no problems with Suri, or else we'd see it. We saw she and Ozzy had their problem at the beginning, and now that they're on the same tribe and they're smaller, they need to work together. I think I'm not feeling great on Suri, but I think Debbie is not doing hot.
My fear with Debbie, and it's the same fear I had with Abby Maria in Second Chances. I fear Debbie's the GOAT that gets dragged to the end. Abby Maria ended up getting booted before the finale, obviously, but I really feel like that could easily happen with Debbie, where it's like she's so crazy, but somebody might want to. Yeah, I mean, maybe that was a good burn because I think I got like Emma Roberts to scream for me, but what but I just think like Debbie could be the GOAT, and I hope she's not. But I just think in terms of you're on a tribe and you have Debbie and Suri, and you want to win this game, you get rid of Suri first every time. I'm sorry, I know you love her, but you get rid of Suri first.
This has nothing to do with my love for Suri. This has to do with having mental stability on your tribe and in an alliance. How could you align with Debbie when you could align with Suri? You can get rid of Suri whenever you want. She's bad at challenges. You can get rid of Suri the next time.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
We can agree. I mean, we're gonna have to agree to disagree on this one. Sandra's number 15. We can agree on that.
If Sandra's been to every tribal council Sandra's been to every tribal council.
4 out of 5.
4 out of 5. Okay. If Sandra goes to another tribal and survives it, I have no idea how she did it. Because right now, yes, she has Michaela, and yes, she has Varner. Else, maybe Troyzan, because Troyzan did vote with her at the beginning. But how do you sit here and keep letting Sandra get by? You just can't keep letting her get by, because the more she gets by, the more in trouble you are. So I think Sandra, like, this is finally going to be the time when people are like, we lost. We cannot have her do this again. Because if she keeps going, like, it's crazy. It's incredible what she did last week. I just don't see how she does it again.
I don't know what to do with Sandra. You have to just sit back and enjoy it for what it is. It's crazy. And yeah, I don't know how she survives unless her tribe wins immunity, or maybe she goes to Exile Island. I don't know. I have no confidence in her, which is upsetting, because if she wasn't a 2-time winner, the game she's playing right now is such a good game, and she could win, except for the fact that she's already won twice. So it's fun to watch. I'm enjoying it, every second of it.
Yeah, we'll see. We will see what ends up happening here with the both of them. If Suri and Sandra both survive this episode, good for them. You have any ideas on who you think's going? Who's your blind guess as to who's going to Exile?
I don't know. I rewatched the preview a few times, and they really gave us nothing. Maybe nothing. Well, it depends. It depends how. If it's like a schoolyard pick. If we're going to 2 tribes and it's a schoolyard pick, I don't know, like Debbie. Maybe going to Exile Island, or if it's just they draw a rock, who knows? Maybe it's Ozzy, because I just mentally associate Ozzy with Exile Island, and because maybe Boston Rob's going to come in and, I don't know, sing around the campfire with him. I don't know, keep him company. But yeah, the only reason I have Ozzy is because they said drop your buffs, Exile Island, and the first person they cut to is Ozzy. Which was weird. Yeah, but I think that's only because, like, Ozzy, I mean, Suri was on the original Exile Island season, but Ozzy, I feel like, is a very strong association as a viewer with Exile Island. I don't know. Who do you think? I really got nothing.
I mean, the only thing with Ozzy is, like, they've shown him fishing and, like, fending for the entire tribe. So, like, that could be setting up for, like, he goes to Exile and then, like, just survives on his own and actually does better than anybody else. That's the only one, like, that I can say from, like, an edits perspective. Like, I could see them going. But then again, we had Julia Sokolowski go the one time, and we had no reason for her to go. She just went. Like, we didn't get any hint that it was going to be her, nothing like that. And then she just goes. So with this one, I'm really not sure. But, you know, maybe I really can't. I can't even guess. I was just putting you on the spot because people have asked, and I really have no idea. Ozzy, though, them showing him and him being the only one who's fishing and stuff, he's setting it up. Other than that, I mean, who knows? Whoever goes, though, I actually think is lucky, because then you only have to survive one more vote, and then you're at the merge. I'd rather go to Exile right now.
Oh, yeah. There's probably idols floating around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Well, thanks for putting me on the spot, Phil. I appreciate it.
Yeah, dude. No problem.
Should we go to the comments?
Well, in a sec, we got to do the updates. We got to do the updates on all the games.
Oh, you just really stole my thunder there.
I did. I know. You finally had it. You jumped it, and I cut you off because.
And now I'm the fill-in again.
Exactly. Back to fill-in. So fill-in are going to read these. So in terms of the winner game, the one I had JT at 15, Will had him at 13, Alexa had him at 12. So not like any of us had him very high. Anyway, that game is so dumb. That was Will's idea.
That was not.
Don't let him tell you otherwise.
Not good.
But, you know, it is what it is. We did it the one time. It's something better than a power rankings beforehand because we do that the whole time. Power rankings, I'm up 39 to 37. So that one's really close. Fantasy, Will has 80. I have 78. Alexa, you have 72. And you have 4 people. So just saying. Let's see. Prop bets. Will has 10. Alexa has 8. I have 4. The top 5 are Spooky Elf with 15, It's FVN with 13, Sophie Hook with 12, Riz God with 12, and Brian Johnson with 12. And then there's 8 people at 11. Names down. And then for the bootless game, I have 23, Alexa has 29, Will has 34. We have Ginger Artist in first with 0, Nippy Ippin with 2, Kanor Habititis Elegans. I'm just going to start calling you like Carnivore. You have 3. Sax Machine 69 with 4, Sylvia Espinoza Gutierrez with 4, Julia Delbell 4, Patrick O'Connor 4, Johnny Talk Sports 4, Trey Alk 4, Adam Klein 4. That's the top 10. In terms of the boot list, I don't know. I'll talk to Will in the offseason, but this might be the last time we ever do the boot list. Getting a little sketched out. I'm not actually calling out the person at first. I'm calling out somebody a little bit lower down because it's just like
well, the person in first, he commented and he was like, oh my God, I have no idea how I'm doing this. So maybe he's throwing us off his scent. I don't know. Don't want to name names.
The one that gets me more is the ones who aren't throwing off their scent. And the ones who are very confident going home here. And I read all
anyone
the comments.
who like had Sandra not going first or second. How do you defend that?
Oh no, there's people. I get that where there's like people who are excited about it and everything. And hey, I think it's Adam Klein's boot list. He has like 5th place. Like so, like there's people who just like think Sandra could be like the one who just walks through to the end. I mean, why not? My whole thing is it's the people who are like killing it, and then they're also very confidently posting nonstop. This is the person going home, and they've been right like 3 weeks in a row, and it's looking like they're really confident this week too. Yeah, we question. Bootless game can be fun. We know that a bootless leaked, guys. Like we're not dumb. We know that a bootless
happens
leaked.
every season.
Happens. I actually don't think it happened with Millennials vs Gen X.
Just don't comment it in our comments. Just in general, don't post spoilers unless you're in a spoiler forum. I don't like to see spoilers. I think a lot of people don't like to see spoilers unless they're looking for them. So be conscious of your neighbors.
Yeah, which, I'm sure that the people who troll us are really conscious of their neighbors. But
anyway,
very,
very conscious.
Now we can do comments, Alexa.
Oh, thanks. Let's get to comments, Phil.
Yeah, there we go. Let's jump over there. I'm going to do Twitter first because that's what I like to do.
It's your world and we're living in it.
So it was John Heddles who said the thing about Boston Rob coming to congratulate Ozzy, but I don't think that's going to happen.
What do you think is going to happen?
T-Rex, I don't know who's coming. I already kind of said, I just think whoever it is going to help at Exile. I don't think it's going to be somebody who just comes and is like, hey, good job, Ozzy. And then like, all right, now somebody put Boston Rob back on a plane back home. I'm sure that didn't cost CBS any money. And it was totally worth it because what's the ratings going to go up? 0.1? Like nothing's gonna happen. I don't know, but that's what I don't know. I just don't think that's gonna happen. Let's see here. Okay, so now back to Twitter. T-Rex says, "Who's the tribe swap going to benefit and who's it going to hurt?" We really talked about this a lot, but if you had to pick one person that's going to help and who it's going to hurt, who you got?
It hurts Sandra. No questions asked. It hurts Sandra, and I would. Who does this help? Hayley. I think it helps Hayley.
Yeah, I agree. I think it actually helps Aubrey the most because I think Hayley would have been okay with the Debbie thing. I think it helps Aubrey the most, and I think it hurts Sandra the most.
This isn't good
just
for
because
Sandra.
that tribe was. I think that tribe was cut and dry. Aubrey was next.
I don't think, and it hurts Varner too. I think it's Sandra, Varner, Michaela. I think it hurts them all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. Let's see here. Okay, so we have Gamer Girl asking, "Where is Zeke's edit?" I kind of talked about this when I said it when I was talking about Zeke. I just don't think that somebody who comes back right to play a next season is going to be so small. On like it hasn't been huge. It's just been kind of like a kid in a candy shop, and it's like no, you want to see more, and I think we're going to see more. So I don't know where it is, but I think it's coming.
It's gotta come, and we talked about this a while ago, but Zeke wasn't hyped up for the season. Michaela was, and Michaela's living up to her hype. We are getting our Michaela, our TV's time's worth of Michaela. But Zeke, it was weird that they never brought him up, especially during the Millennials vs. Gen X reunion. But yeah, why would you brought him back for a reason? We just haven't seen it yet.
And I'm looking at the comments here. Giovanni, I know you keep saying James. James also got medevaced his season. which was weird. And he still was pretty big. My computer just freeze.
Your video is frozen.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but
Can
your
you hear
video.
me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, my whole internet just froze, but that's okay.
Yeah,
Anyway,
you were frozen
okay,
and
I'm
in
back,
like
I'm
a
back.
pursed lips face. It was very funny.
That was weird. Okay, good. But what I'm saying is with James was still very big on that season. I get that he didn't have that many confessionals, but like James was very relevant. His and Parvati's relationship, his and Amanda's relationship, the way he interacted, like what was he eating bats? Like whatever it was with James, maybe he was eating bats in China. I don't know, but I think he was eating bats.
He was eating bats in China. But anyway,
he was doing something. It didn't matter. James was very relevant in that season, and then he gets medevaced. So you have to think like with being medevaced, a lot of times those characters are sort of hidden. Joe Del Campo, Eric Reichenbach. You know, there's a lot of times some of those further along players who get medevaced who don't have a huge impact and also aren't like the biggest personalities don't get huge edits. If you really think about it, James didn't even have that much in China, but James with China, which is like one of my favorites of all time, he was just always present. He didn't have 100 confessionals. He was just always present and always had something to say, always had his hands and everything. It's the same thing with fans versus favorites. I mean, that's why he comes back for the Heroes Tribe and people were so devastated that he was such a non-hero.
Such a not hero. But the thing is, comparing Zeke to James is tough. I love James. James is one of my favorite characters. But how do you compete with James's personality? He's just his physical presence. He's just like you said, he's there. He's involved in everything. He has so many quotable lines. He's known for some of the biggest scenes in Survivor history. It's a little tough to compare, even because in James's first season, he was more well known than Zeke was in his first season because he was just a bigger character. I think it's really hard to compare them, but there's got to be something coming. They wouldn't have brought someone. They wouldn't have brought someone back from the season that just aired, and then have him do nothing. They picked him for a reason. He was a huge factor in Millennials versus Gen X. So I don't know what we're missing.
Yeah, I don't know. It'll happen. I mean, I think something's coming. So we will see. I don't know. Gamer Girl. If Debbie continues this attitude, will she be a goat that people want to take to the end, or will she rage quit? I don't think there's any chance Debbie quits.
I don't think she quits. I don't think that's her personality.
She ever quits.
No, I think they rage vote her out.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. She's not. Yeah, it's still going to be rage, but it's going to be more of a let's get rid of this woman. We have Sam Shaffy. Who do you guys predict is the merge boot? I feel Debbie is getting an appropriate merge boot. Edit. P.S. I miss Will. I still think it's going to be like Ozzy. Maybe like I don't know. I feel like it's going to be Ozzy, Hayley, maybe again. Sadly.
Malcolm was we all thought Malcolm was going to be the merge boot because he was getting such a positive edit. I could see it being Ozzy, a bit, maybe Zeke. Maybe Zeke comes in real hot at the merge and then they turn around and flip on him.
Yeah, maybe.
Sarah,
hey, Zeke could be the merge boot.
Who knows?
Suri. Because we've heard enough from Suri. Like Suri gets like one here and there, even when she hasn't been to a tribal yet, and she's getting a confessionals consistently. Mm-hmm. It could make sense.
Yeah. Who knows? We have assuming that we merge at 13, we have 2 more people to go home before merge boot.
Yeah. We have Giovanni Oriana. Are they switching back to 2 tribes or 3 based on the preview that had 4 challenge match set up? They're doing 2 tribes and then one person goes to Exile. I don't think they'll go back to 3 again after that. I think that this is it until we hit the merge now.
And 3 tribes of 5 is, I mean, I know that's kind of what we've been playing with right now, but then when you have 2 go down to 4, it's like too tight. It's too small. I like these bigger tribes. It's more group dynamic going on there.
I agree. With Proud Nurse, the 2 people in the worst positions going to the swap, Sandra, cocky and a big threat. Michaela doesn't play well with others. I sort of agree with Michaela. I definitely agree with Sandra. I sort of agree with Michaela just because she's cocky and doesn't play well with others, but like right now, Mana's down so much. And I think like Michaela, as long as Michaela doesn't want to end up on a tribe with Aubrey. If she ends up on a tribe with anybody else, I think Michaela's fine. But if she ends up on a tribe with Aubrey, I think she's in a little bit of trouble.
I think she's in trouble regardless because she's probably going to be the minority in any situation, and I don't think that's a good position for her. I don't think Michaela is the best person to be in the minority because I don't know if she has what it takes to get someone to flip and help her out.
Yeah, because I think when she talks, when she starts scheming, she has the way of coming across as aggressive, and that might turn some of these people off. We saw it happen with Jay, and Will brought up that point where he kept saying she said at the reunion the first time she realized why she got voted out was when she watched that scene on TV of her with the shells. And she goes out almost the same way where she's strategizing too hard, gets too in people's faces, and like, we need to get rid of her because she does know what's going on. We're underestimating.
That's true because she was at this reunion even after she filmed this season.
Exactly. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I would not be surprised at all.
So she did get an interesting.
Zach.
One quick thing I forgot. She had that first confessional after they lost the challenge, and she said something along the lines of, "This is how I lost last time. I'm not going home again tonight," and she didn't. I think that might throw us off that scent a little bit.
Yeah, because we saw it happen with Caleb where he said, "This is when I went home," and then he did. And then Michaela says it and she doesn't. So maybe she does change up a little bit. Maybe she does get a redemption arc because so far, I think Michaela's been one of the villains of the season.
Mm-hmm. She's been a fun villain.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So we have, I think this tribe switch will be like Panama person sent to exile comes back, replacing who was voted out. That's exactly what I think happens. Whoa. Was
continue.
It dogs?
Continue. Sorry. I think.
Are those your roommates actually yelling?
Those are my roommates actually yelling.
Oh my God. Well, anybody who wants Big Little Lies, who hasn't watched Big Little Lies, it might be worth it.
Yeah, it might be. I don't know. Something crazy's going on out there.
Clearly, my goodness. Yeah. So I guess Big Little Lies is worth the view. We can name drop that here.
But you should also continue to watch our podcast.
Yeah, Giovanni wants to know if Alexa's friends are watching the Malcolm boot.
That was I made a similar reaction. Yeah, they sound. I can't tell if they're happy or not. I don't know.
Christopher Zyko asks if you dorm with 10-year-olds.
You know what? I don't know if 10-year-olds could. Never mind. I'm not going down that road. Yeah. No, there's a couple. I think I live with 3 people, so it's quite a lot of us.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Well, that's exciting.
Love New York.
Anyway, moving on. Okay, so yeah, that's what's going to happen. Somebody's going to go to exile. They're going to come back to the tribe that doesn't have exile. That's something we didn't take into account too much, or we didn't really talk about. If somebody goes to tribal who we don't know who goes to exile, I mean. But do you think like anybody could be affected by the person who goes to exile knowing that they're going to come back? Exactly what happened with Anna and Julia, where Anna goes home because they knew Julia was going to come to that tribe.
Yeah, I think that absolutely, especially if it's someone who's from original Mana that ends up in exile. There's, Mana's already in trouble, but that doesn't do well for them at all.
Mm-hmm. It'll be interesting how that works out, just because like Tavua, I don't know if I don't think they're going to come across as such a tight-knit group. Even though like the 6 of them, we had them all like happy and stuff. I don't think they're going to come across as such a tight-knit group that if like Ozzy goes to exile, Cerie's definitely going. Or if Ozzy goes to exile, Zeke's definitely going. I don't think it's as cut and dry as it was that season, just because that season was so blatantly like, okay, the 3 beauty girls are obviously tight. And then they get split up, and it's like, well, we can't let that happen. So
yeah, absolutely. I love Exile Island. It's one of my favorite twists. It's such a good twist. So no matter what happens, I'm excited for it.
Yeah. We have Giovanni who says the editing of this season reminds me of the first seasons where early boots like Gina, Thailand Rob, Africa Lindsay get a lot of screen time. Yeah, I mean, it's so far it's been very heavy on the people who've gone home. Then Giovanni asks, is Troyzan the Spencer of Game Changers?
Which Spencer? Kagian's Spencer or Second Chance's Spencer?
Well, he means second chances.
I don't know. That's not looking too good for Troyzan then. I feel like Troyzan's getting a lot more positive of an edit than Spencer did in Second Chances.
Yeah, I think Spencer's was like the fan favorite edit that they had to like everybody loved him so much from Kage on that they had to play him up. Troyzen they have no reason to, and like to have Troyzen like breaking down crying and like getting that idol, yeah, it hasn't been all positive for Troyzen, obviously. We've been getting a pretty good amount of him. I don't think Troyzen's a GOAT. Even if he gets to the end, he's gonna have to make moves to get to the end because he's already been on the bottom of his tribe. He's got the idol. I think he has potential to make some moves, and he doesn't come across as unlikable as what Spencer came across on that season. Spencer was so arrogant, nobody could stand him.
See, I think Troyzen is getting a very positive edit. You think the crying wasn't a good thing? I think the crying was huge for him.
No, it's not even that. It's Suri talking about him missing all the things and he's just hurting himself even more. Or Andrea talking about how he's hurting himself even more. I think the crying is a good thing for sure. I'm just saying there's moments in his edit that aren't great.
Yeah, I could see that. Maybe it's because he was at a 5-1 disadvantage the whole time. I'm rewatching Nicaragua right now, and how many awful things people have to say about Fabio. So Fabio is astounding. So Adam didn't get the greatest edit. I think they're trying to, give everyone a give and take edit so that it's not, too up.
Which is interesting when talking Brad Culpepper, maybe, because I was reading Gordon Holmes's recap. I believe it was Gordon Holmes. And he said, I've been around this a long time. Either Brad is doing stuff that the show's not showing because they want people to like him, or Debbie's just completely lost her mind. And it's interesting just because Brad Culpepper gets on the second chances ballot, and people weren't big on Brad Culpepper coming off of Blood vs. Water. Now he comes on the season, and he's been so positive. But I think because of the last two winners we saw, Michelle and Adam, I don't necessarily think that means Brad is going to win this season. Because if that was going to be the case, then it's too obvious, and I think that they've tried to stray away from the obvious. Brad still very well could win this season, but I think that that's a good thing to keep in mind, is that like there are people that the network and the show will play favorites with sometimes. Ozzy is one of them. Brad might be one of them. No, Troyzan's getting a little bit of negative. I wouldn't count somebody like Troyzan out just because somebody said something bad about him.
Yeah, see, I don't know. I disagree. I think Troyzen is getting he is getting a positive edit. But the Brad thing is he's getting a huge redemption edit. He's getting a multi-season redemption edit. And we were getting a positive Brad edit day one. What was it? His second episode, he was interior decorating with Monica. We got a positive Brad edit very quickly, and people, myself included, are really turning around on him. I'm really, really enjoying him, and he was one of the people who I was least excited to see on the season. And I'm really, really enjoying him. He's been so likable. He's been a natural leader. He's very charismatic. It's enjoyable to watch. I'm liking it so far.
Yeah. No, I agree. And I'm just, my whole thing is right now, Brad's edit is way less complex than Troyzan's. Troyzan has had people saying negative things about him. That realized, like, people are saying negative things about Troyzan. Suri had one. Andrea had one. Sarah was not necessarily being negative about Troyzan, but it was almost like she was talking at him. And then Troyzan's edit picked up again because he was like, I have the idol. I don't want to play this. I'll side with her, whatever. And, like, I do think that right now, Troyzan's has been the most Adam, where it's kind of like people like him, but people are also kind of like, my God, ripping on him. And then Brad is just constant, other than the Debbie thing, obviously, but they clearly showed Debbie to be the crazy person by showing that flashback. Brad is just being shown in such a positive light that it's almost like, is this really what's going on?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. All right, so let's see here. We have Steve Cancel. If Ozzy wins every individual immunity and makes it day 39 and Sandra is there too, who would win in a final tribal council?
I think Ozzy wins.
I would say Ozzy probably wins. If Ozzy makes the end, Ozzy wins, I think.
But Ozzy has made the end before.
Yeah, true. Thank you to Steve Cancel and T-Rex for retweeting us, to all your followers out there. Steve Cancel, do you think Michaela and Zeke might get together at the merge?
I think Michaela needs Zeke more than Zeke needs Michaela. I think they could work together. I really do. And I don't think people would be too scared of it. I don't know. I feel like people aren't taking them seriously because they're very young.
Yeah, no, I agree. And because they don't really know them all that well.
Yeah.
You have so many like icons out there. Not so many, but you had enough icons out there and enough like huge personalities that Michaela and Zeke are hard to focus on.
Yeah, you have Sandra, Ozzy, Sari, and then Michaela and Zeke. So,
I just don't really know how they get along. Really.
I feel like
because we didn't see much of them on Millennials vs. Gen X.
Yeah, I think they'd be able to get along. I don't think they would be a super couple, but I think they would work together.
Yeah. All right, so we have Larry Miller. I see your comment. I'm just not reading it out, but I love it too. Giovanni Oriana says, did JT replace Colby as the new Superman in the fat suit? Another great James line.
I know Colby's downfall was multi-tiered. That was not just a challenge thing. That was everything.
Yeah, I still think JT, like, I think everybody's so hard on JT right now. I really don't think JT the amount that he's gotten.
And JT's like tribe mates are all over him on Twitter. They like, and how many months ago did this actually happen? I mean, maybe they're playing it up, but like his co-contestants, they're having a field day with him too.
I know. Poor guy. He's getting ripped apart by the entire community right now. I don't necessarily think he's not the worst winner. People are trying to say, is he the worst winner? No, he's not the worst winner.
Not
and he shouldn't go give his money to Fishbach because he wiped the floor with Fishbach. Yeah, Fishbach could get him to the end, maybe help him get there. But that final tribal council
was not good.
Fishbach should give him more money for teaching him a lesson in how to pitch yourself. I mean, that was just incredible. That was a free class. All right, last one here on Twitter. We got Steve Cancel. My guess is Aubrey goes to Exile. Maybe she doesn't, but there you go. We had one there.
If Aubrey goes to Exile, I think that would actually be very good for her.
That would be. I think that would be interesting. Maybe. I really have no idea who's going to end up going to Exile.
Yeah, this preview game. I mean, it gave us a lot in the sense of a lot's going to happen, but we don't know who it's going to happen to.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right, let's jump over to some of these YouTube ones from last week. Let's try to trim some of the fat here, try to trim some of the trolls. We got Hayley Vic 17, who goes on a complete rant all about Debbie, which is actually really funny. So then at the bottom she says, "Can't wait for the swap next week so we can see a shift in the group dynamics." And I agree, because I love those other tribes. Like, I was fine with how all three tribes turned out, and even the Mono tribe, which I wasn't huge on, I was happy with how they actually shaped up. But let's get this moving.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to a dynamic switch. I think yeah.
So I mean, and this should be.
Yeah, I think it'll be good because we have Tavua has been great. It's been nice to like see everyone crumble and they're just like hanging out. But now it's, this is when things get crazy, and it's the 2 votes before the merge. Things are going to start heating up. Yeah,
exactly. So this will be interesting, and whoever goes to Exile, I'm telling you, it's a blessing in disguise this time. Mm-hmm. We have Alex Newell. Sandra's won twice, never had a single vote cast against her, played over 100 days as Survivor now, and has been 4 out of 5 tribals straight off the bat, and not only survived, but not a single vote against her. Pretty amazing. She hasn't hit 100 days yet.
That's surprising. 91? Ooh, this could be timing up for either she hits like 100 or I don't know. That's 90 days is a long, 90 days is a long time.
Yeah. So, I mean, 91 days straight, I think that's more impressive than Boston Rob's played 117, whatever. I just think playing 91 straight days is incredible.
Yeah, it's insane. Wow, 117. That is a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot of days. All right, so let's see here. We have.
I wonder how many Parvati has had. Oh, sorry.
Well, Parvati, I think, had the record until Boston Rob played the 4th time.
Yeah, because she makes it far every time she plays.
Yeah. She was 4th place and then 2 day 39s.
Yeah. Anyways, continue.
I mean, the thing is, even if Sandra makes it all the way to the end this time, she still only ties with 117.
It's insane.
So, it's definitely based more on how many times you play as opposed to.
how far you go.
That one at least. Okay, let's see here. We have. God, I keep losing the thing. We have Squire, Whitney, Michaela, Sandra, and Varner are my 3 favorites before the season began. Now seeing all 3 of them aligned feels unreal. What is this? Booble gum. JT's getting screwed over by Sugar. Pretty ironic.
I like it. The tables have turned.
And then, okay, so this is in reference, obviously, to Sugar Kuiper, right? I mean, is there more to the Sugar Kuiper relationship with JT or no?
I don't know. I saw it on Twitter a lot, but I think it's just kind of funny because they played together and she went home and, her name's Sugar, and Sugar was a huge part of this episode.
Very much so. I mean, very, very much so. Cheddar Slammer, these idols are growing on trees. We've talked about that. Hopefully we're probably going to see another idol found this week with Exile Island.
Oh, absolutely. It's probably going to be in a tray.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's just going to be sitting right there on the tree that says Exile Island.
Yeah, it's going to be in the tree mail. Like you get your mail and then you get an idol with it.
Yeah. It'll be, I don't know. I'm hoping that they slow down a little bit, but we know they're not going to. We have ALZ Train. Can't believe JT didn't play his idol. Seems so obvious he was going home. Like the use of editing blatantly showed how much of a crazy person Debbie is. Just dying trying to figure out who is the former player coming back next week. Yeah, we can talk JT up and down until the end of time. But,
He's
John
complex.
Costa. He is complex. He is. We have John Costa. Thought it was ironic how Nuku lost the immunity challenge with slingshots where Malcolm likely would have dominated.
I know. Mr. Malcolm.
And that just shows why I think that twist was dumb, because another tribe voted out the best player who probably would have JT just couldn't hit it. Couldn't do it.
Yeah, that looked pretty difficult. Ozzy was struggling with that too.
Yeah, I mean, Ozzy almost blew it, which was crazy.
I know. Has that ever happened?
I don't know. That's a good question. When was the last time Ozzy blew a challenge? I think maybe the first one of Cook Islands.
Was he on a tribe that threw a challenge?
Yeah, I think that was him.
Though. It doesn't. Yeah, you're not blowing a challenge if you actively throw it.
Sorry, just looking over at the comments here. Nippy Ipping, you're completely wrong on that. Moving on.
What happened?
Doesn't matter. Middle Earth Lamb, another great episode, man. I really think Sandra gave her royal execution at JT because of what he did in the Malcolm boot. You can call it revenge, but more specifically, a sweet revenge. The Queen Bee has a plan. The Worker Bee, Varner, makes JT comfortable, even tribal, and the Killer Bee, Michaela, whips her hair for the kill while sipping tea with 7 drops of honey in it. That's the way I see it. The trio would be something to watch out for. And said he felt like they should have won like an Oscar for their acting performance there, because the entire time they just knew JT was going home.
Oh yeah, no, Jeff Varner said we played him for 30 hours, and Jeff Varner, he did the best in that tribal council because Sandra was still like in her answers. She was obviously skewing towards JT, but she was still saying like, no, Michaela helps me with this. Michaela does this. Michaela does that. But Jeff was like so anti. He was laughing with JT. It was great.
Yeah. Yeah. We have Nick P, who commented 3 really long comments. They're all pretty good, but they're just super, super, super long.
They are really good. Maybe try to get to the gist on some of them. They're good.
I wish I could. They're just so long. Pretty much the one is just about how Ty did a really good job of handling Debbie, which I thought he did as well. Really couldn't tarnish her legacy at all, even if she goes home. Mm-hmm. And then what was the other one? The other one's pretty much like defending the title of Game Changers. They're all pretty good comments. They're just really long.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Was it? You said Sandra can't tarnish her legacy. Yes, she can. It can. It has only improved.
Yeah, I think she's impressed people more in these first few weeks than she ever did winning the game twice. And seriously, in that second season versus Villains, it was kind of weird that she was on that season, because it was like, okay, she was almost a little forgotten from Pearl Islands. Like the legacy Sandra has going into this season is way different than it was going into Heroes versus Villains. And now it's just like crazy.
I don't even know if they ever reference. So I want someone to correct me on this. Did they at any point in Heroes versus Villains ever reference that Sandra had won before? It had been mentioned that Tom won. I believe it had been mentioned that JT won. I don't think it had been said that Sandra won going into Heroes versus Villains, and that's bonkers.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. The thing is with Sandra, just like a forgotten winner. Like, I know Pearl Island's a very classic season, but like in the realm of everything, like most people just remember Rupert, Fair Play. They remember a couple moments from Sandra, but like Sandra going into Heroes vs. Villains was kind of just like, okay, like this could be fun to watch. We have another winner. Like, she's obviously a villain. We'll see how she does. But coming into this season, it's so much more. And yeah, I think this season play has just been insane.
Yeah, no, she's been on a completely, it's like she's a different player. It's just the only thing that I've noticed has been the same as her personality, and it's just been amplified.
Exactly. Yeah, that's like the perfect way to say that.
Yeah.
We have middle. Oh, right. I did that one. Sooth, Alexa upgraded from a 28.8 to a 56K modem for this recap. Yeah, Alexa didn't cut out. It was pretty good.
I know, Phil. I'm just saying, Phil, you've been cutting out the past two podcasts. I've been carrying Seam on my back.
So you got to call me out when I do it.
I want to, but I'm so afraid that it's me, and I don't want to be that person who makes fun of you, and then I got to play with my router for 10 minutes while you're trying to make a point.
No, it's fine. I mean, if I'm cutting out at all, just let me know. But anyway.
Oh, I will.
We have CC Trubiak, who calls me Will here, but I'll correct him and say, hey, Phil and Will. I once said I was getting tired of the lack of internet connection and chemistry, but YouTube, my bad, both are improving. Thanks for the shout out. I was listening to the podcast while cooking, got the biggest smile because A, I rarely comment as a Survivor enthusiast, so I hadn't expected that one comment make an impression. B, because I highly enjoy Survivor and your weekly commentary and enjoyed your reactions. Lexa, having a female's point of view is really appreciated. You bring a much needed thoughtfulness to these breakdowns. What does that mean?
You hear that? Much needed, Phil. I don't think you're very thoughtful. I think that's what he's saying. No, I saw that comment. I loved that because his first comment was so hilarious. And I think he liked that we weren't insulted. And we were like, wow, that was a really good burn. So
yeah,
I want to know what
I
was
laughing.
Cooking. Tell us. Yeah, tell us what you were cooking.
People with senses of humor who it seems like they're going to troll and then it's actually just funny. And then they come back.
Yeah, I love a good joke. If you can give me a good joke, I'll laugh at it.
How about a good troll? No?
Love a good troll. We got plenty of those.
You got Flame Badger who says JT is coming back, baby. Speaking of, people with realistic expectations. Let's see. Anna Mark, imagine Michaela's reaction if JT had played his idol. And that is something that I kind of thought about. And I'm happy JT went out the way he did because he was getting so cocky. But could you imagine if he actually pulled that out, what Michaela's face would have been like?
Well, Michaela is sipping her tea, too.
Well, no, because she waited until after he had said, after Jeff had asked if anybody was playing the idol. She waited until it was a no.
That's true. I don't know if her reaction will be – I don't think it would have been what her first boot reaction was like, but – the problem is I don't want Michaela to go home, but I kind of do because I want to know if she can top her boot episode or her boot tribal.
I don't think she can.
Nothing can.
All right, let's see here. We have Mark Meitzty. I know JT will be a winner for dumbest move in Survivor history again. Oh, poor JT. Thought he can go through it knowing he got the idol, but he got played anyway. Nice episode. And then ALX Train plays off that with can't believe JT didn't play his idol. Seems so obvious he was going home. We talked about that one, but it's crazy. JT, these are like nice comments for JT with the dumbest move in Survivor history. I mean, some of these boards have just been brutal.
Yeah, people have been killing him. But the thing is, if you win your season, I think like it's that group of people. I've always thought it would be cool. I know this will never happen in Survivor, but to replay a season with that same cast, because every season is different. Amy, every game is different. JT could have won the season if it was 3 different people on instead of, Michaela, Sandra, Varner. We'll never know. So I don't think any of this takes away the win that he has. I think he's not the best player in Survivor history, but he's not a terrible player. He was a great winner.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
He still makes a lot of really stupid moves.
If you think that him getting voted off in this place in this season ruins his Tocantins game, like how?
Two completely
not at
different
all.
games.
Like two completely different things. If he would have never played again after Tocantins, people were calling him like a top 5, top 10 winner. It didn't matter. Like he was never like this. Nobody hears about it, and I still don't think the heroes versus villains move is bad. I will keep defending that as I understand his reasoning. And yeah, it was a villain. You got to think
that was
though.
A terrible move. That was a horrible move.
Two different types of villains on that season. You have the Boston Rob type villain who's also very able to think, and Tyson, who pretty much turned it around and he was still stealing coconuts and whatever, but Tyson turned it around in Blood vs. Water and wins the game over a hero, perhaps, in Monica. And he's a villain. They were both on the villain tribe, but those are two people who can think. He just didn't realize that it was Russell. And as opposed to Russell, it probably actually works out. But it's Russell who's just on a different level.
To me, it has nothing to do with the fact that he gives it to a villain. It's the fact that he gave it to someone who he doesn't know. Amanda called him out the second he said he was going to do it. She's like, you don't even know him. That's a horrible move. But we could debate this for hours.
They went big.
He went big. He went home.
Yeah. Based on your reaction, I think Nick Donardi just said Alexa is sauced.
I'm sauced.
I guess that means trouble.
If only.
Hayley Vic 17. You know the struggle is real when they're arguing over a tablespoon of sugar. Hashtag Sugargate. It was sugar napping. Jokingly calling it.
Oh yeah, sugar napping. I forgot about
that. Let's see here. We have Jay Uke. No, we're not reading that one. Owen Ezell. Is Michaela in a better spot now or the week before? Also, who can she trust going into the merge, assuming she makes it? She would be in a better spot this week if they weren't swapping tribes, but I think the tribe swap actually hurts her a bit.
Yeah, that was a really good question. I think she's in a... What was the second question? I think she's in a worse position next week.
Oh, and then it was who can she trust into the merge, assuming she makes it? Varner and Sandra, obviously. And I don't know who else she can.
And then maybe like a tertiary relationship with Zeke. Maybe.
I still don't know how they really got along in Millennials vs. Gen X because they were only on the same tribe for a little bit at the beginning. And then she doesn't hit the merge, so we never really got to see her play with Zeke all that much. Mm-hmm. So I don't really know because, I mean, she voted out Mari. And then the next vote, it was already swapped, right? I mean, Millennials vs. Gen X only had one Millennial go before the swap.
Yeah, Michaela, we forget because she had such a great personality, but Michaela was not.
No, she wasn't. She played she got 14th place.
Yeah, I
know. We have Giovanni Oriana. You guys complain about how easy the idols are. Well, to my counterpoint, I say if you guys are on Survivor and need an idol, you'll be crying for these easy to find idols. Just say it and be careful for what you wish for.
That's a very good point. I will consistently complain about how easy it is to find idols. But if I'm on Survivor and if I'm going home, I want an idol to fall into my lap. Giovanni, you make a good point with that. But because I'm not playing right now, I'm going to complain.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. For TV purposes, make it a little bit harder to find. That's more fun. Okay. We have Flame Badger. It would make sense if this whole Kageon Brain Tribe returned because they are game-changingly bad.
That changed the game.
What, this whole brain tribe? Oh, so they just want this whole tribe back. Okay. This is the guy who keeps wanting. This is who also said Jatia was coming back, right?
Well, this guy's got like a love affair with the Kageon Brains tribe. I mean, that is a bad tribe.
Yeah, it's a disaster.
We should just have we should just have a Kageon Brain tribe versus Matt Singh. It's Denise's tribe. It's Malcolm and Denise's tribe.
Oh, I know who it is. I'm just thinking about how that would go down. Garrett might win. Leo and YouTube. Natalie Anderson was about to be part of the season. What if that's her on the boat? Guys, I'm really pissed. We still haven't seen anything from fan favorite Suri. Don't you think Survivor should be longer? Things happen too fast now. For example, every time somebody looks for an idol, they find it. There's no emotion. and start a campaign, give Token Jeans money to Steven.
Wow. Well, we just talked about about the Steven thing. Steven's final tribal council was not good.
No, it wasn't.
It was bad.
Yeah, and really, maybe nobody should have won that season because Steven didn't play very good in Game Changers either. Speaking of people who got arrogant and made really bad moves, how was that double vote or vote steal, whatever it was?
Oh yeah, the vote steal.
Yeah, Ronnie T, JT didn't even bring the idol to tribal. That's how much game Sandra's got.
Yeah, she's great.
Jay Johnson, is Hayley the princess that's going to take over the queen?
Wow. Wow,
Didn't
that could be some good editing foreshadowing there. Who knows? Maybe she votes out Sandra, and then the queen no longer is the queen.
That's crazy because they have been calling her the princess like crazy.
Yeah, good point.
Williamson, bringing Russell in a twist is genius. Tribe that wins gets Russell to sabotage the other camp.
Russell just goes.
That would be interesting.
Or pours out all the water and then leaves.
He'd probably just walk up and like drown Sandra. That would be it. And like then put his hat on.
And then just demand that America votes for the winner and then leaves.
Exactly. And it's him. So we have geez, I keep losing the thing. Here it is. It's back. We have Ground Scarecrow. Why is it that Mana let Tyga look for the idol or not at least help him look? Do they trust Ty that much that they think he will always have their back?
What was that? I mean, you cut out for a second.
Do they trust Ty so much that they think he will always have their back? Why are they letting him look for the idol on his own?
I think they think they have him under their thumb.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think he kind of showed he's under their thumb by playing that idol for Sierra, but he could easily turn that around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he's shown that he's super loyal, but he's also shown that he's willing to flip. So you never know with him.
Yeah, you really don't. You really don't. He could be playing a way better game than we think. Derek Williamson, if Sandra keeps voting out these perceived threats, she won't get far into the merge. She's taken out 3 major perceived threats. Targets other than herself are running thin. And I agree with this. She is voting out some very strong players. And like, it's almost at the point where like, who is more dangerous than Sandra? And you're running out of people to name.
Exactly. That's why I had Ozzy and Cerise so low. We're running out of people.
Yeah. We have Ground Scarecrow, the part where Sarah and Troyzan are talking. Sarah tells Troyzan not to talk to anyone else. It's a bad way to make allies when you're telling people they can and can't do. Also, is no one else trying to bring Troyzan into the group? Why would you ever leave someone on the outs when you could have them in your back pocket, even if you're lying to them?
Yeah, I don't like how to say it. You go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think this is something Brad is doing very well, is that even when people are blowing up on him or doing whatever they're doing, he's doing a really good job of like keeping them close. And it's weird how like, people are going to flip and switch and there's going to be tribe swaps and all this. And like, people are kind of ostracizing Troyzan.
Yeah, I don't like how Sarah played it. I mean, I didn't like her confessional. I don't know, her confessional that was like, let's grow up. Like, how is being comfortable in your alliance not growing up? I didn't like that. I didn't get it. And then when she's like, Troyzan, don't talk to anyone. Like, yeah, he's in the position. Of course, what's he going to say? Like, oh, I'm going to go talk to people. Thanks for reaching out. But it was very demanding. And I didn't like it.
And not for nothing, I also think that like the way she did that gives almost too much power to Troyzan, because Troyzan can just walk up to somebody else and be like, hey, she's telling me not to talk to anybody. Sarah's trying to side with me. She's trying to work both sides. And he has the idol, so he could throw her under the bus if she gets too aggressive.
Yeah, he totally could. But I think he wants friends versus not having friends.
Well, yeah, at this point, I'm just saying if it ever got to that point, he could easily turn that on them.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's see here. We have We have Triskel12. I'm still wondering if there was a method to Debbie's madness. I can't fathom what her aim may have been, but just after seeing her tantrum on the beach, doing push-ups and showing off her abs, you can see her laughing. Was it at her own antics? And I don't think it was. I think she was losing her mind.
The laughing thing was crazy because as it was happening, I was like, oh, I was thinking she's having a breakdown. But the laughing is what made it a true mental breakdown because she was laughing and then she kind of cried and then she laughed. It was really uncomfortable.
It was, and it was almost like somebody was saying it was like the Joker. Like it was just very like maniacal, and it was like, where did this come from? Like where did this happen?
Really, you're throwing me under the bus in the chat there.
Yeah, are we even listening to each other anymore, or are we just going back and forth?
I'm trying to say that I'd idle you out. You'd be the first boot.
I couldn't be the first boot. I'd be so good at challenges, my tribe would win every time.
You said I wouldn't get my nails dirty. Oh my god, you're such a jerk. I'm gonna get the nickname fan favorite game changer soul survivor Alexa Pappas because that's what Sierra's nickname has become.
Yeah, right. And throw in
well, I won't have to dig for an idol and get my nails dirty because the idol's probably just gonna like fall into my lap.
Well, that's true too. Somebody's gonna shake a tree and it's gonna hit you in the head.
And I'll be thanking Giovanni because Giovanni's like, hey, Alexa, you wanted an idol to fall into your lap, and it did. So shout out to me winning if I ever get on Survivor.
Yeah. And everybody who thinks that we skipped comments, we have not. We're doing it a bit different right now. We are all over the place to try to break up some of these groups. So Gamer Girl, hang in there for a little bit. Rick Ron, happy birthday. Okay, I'm going to go back to comments.
Okay, yeah, let's start talking to each other.
Let's do that. Let's focus. We got this. We have Randy Brown. I think Debbie dug her own grave. Also, how crazy it would be if the losing tribe voted someone out. Then they got whoever the returning player is added to their tribe. Not saying I'd like it, but it could be interesting. Oh, they mean like in terms of the person returning.
So what would it be? You vote out Michaela, and then Michaela goes on to the other tribe?
No, it would be like you vote out Michaela, and then like Boston Rob would join your tribe. I would not like that at all, but like,
oh god,
I don't think they would do that.
That would be so bad.
I don't like that.
Nothing good happens there.
Nothing. Yes, now I'm covering my mouth. I'm scratching my nose.
Your face is red.
We'll do a game of Simon Says with the group chat if you guys want. Let's see. We got Gamer Girl. Where would Sandra hate come from? I noticed that a lot of people in both of my Survivor Facebook groups are saying, I can't stand Sandra. I hope she goes soon. Sandra's making this season worse for me. From Alexa. Tell me, because I don't get it.
Well, you don't get why people aren't liking Sandra? I think people aren't liking Sandra because I don't think she's very popular in the like people who kind of watch Survivor community. She's being kind of a jerk. Like I think it's hilarious because, and I feel like a lot of people think it's funny because they know Sandra's personality. At least we know her personality through the TV. But she's loud and obnoxious, and if you don't like that, you're not gonna like her. And also, she resulted in a lot of other fan favorites like Tony going home. So people are going to resent her for that.
And I think she's kind of trying to play more to the like diehard fans at this point. Like I think like she knows her audience and her fan base, and that's what she's trying to play to. And I think it is rubbing some people the wrong way. I think the older crowd is over Sandra. I think that's really what it is. And when I say older crowd, I mean like 40 plus. I think is like just tired of like listening to Sandra. They don't want to see this. They want to see like the other people play. They're tired of listening to her. I just think that's where there's like a disconnect right now. And I think the younger people are enjoying it. I think the older are kind of like meh.
I'm enjoying it because I like we're getting a mini Sandra in Michaela. So it's like between the two of them, it's hilarious.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, it's like her underling. Like, here, come here, Michaela, come be me. I'll teach you how.
Yeah.
All right, we got Gamer Girl, McDonald's first sponsor, Survivor Specialist. Also, Phil gets a chocolate bar for getting all my comments ready.
Chocolate bar.
At least it wasn't due to technical difficulties. I don't know where that came from.
want a
Phil, do
chocolate
not
bar.
call them intros. They're called season previews. That's right. I had a really hard time thinking of the words season and preview and putting them together last episode. It was very difficult on a re-listen.
Yeah, not just listening to yourself, not string those two words together.
My God, it was brutal. I'm like, come on, Phil, you got this. You got this. And I never got this. Ice X, why wouldn't JT bring his idol to Tribal? His tribe did a really great job making him feel comfortable at Tribal. Enough for him to throw some snarkiness around. Very ballsy considering his previous Tribal performance. Slightest crack in that facade might have shattered that comfort, forcing him to play the idol, sending Michaela home instead. Besides, wouldn't he now have a souvenir? Instead, someone else will end up with it.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, JT was he was so cocky. I can't believe he didn't even bring it. That shows how good of a job those three did. The fact that he didn't bring it.
I mean, it almost would have been funnier if they would have known that he didn't bring it somehow, and he just goes and sits down, and like Sandra's like, "Oh yeah, we're voting JT out tonight. We convinced him we weren't, and we definitely are."
That would have been super. That would have been incredible.
Yeah, that would have been so fun. Either way, great stuff. JT so cocky in that episode, but doesn't deserve the hate he's getting. Nathan Eli, Sandra, always my favorite since Pearl Island's proven people wrong. Now people see again why she won twice. She knows the game.
Whoa.
Sore loses.
Your voice got very, very weird.
How do I sound now?
Slightly improved.
Yeah, you just need to. Sometimes you just need to stop. I guess talking. I don't know.
Oh, what? You were the one talking.
No. I mean, like sometimes, I need to stop. Sometimes the microphones get like wonky for like 3 seconds. So
yeah, I was like, Phil, you're the one talking. Don't throw this on me. My internet is pristine.
No. Pristine. Oh God, I'm gonna go back and listen. If there's one mistake, you're getting thrown under the bus. But they're just pretty much going on about how much they love Sandra, and if she makes it to the end, she will tattoo her name on Survivor history with blood. Jesus.
With J2, oh my gosh, this got so violent.
But it's true. She's just playing ridiculous. We'll see what happens this week. Hopefully, I have her at 15 in my power rankings, but hey, I'm all for history, so keep on going. Justin Machida, I think if Survivor goes to Exile and their family member comes, theoretically, if Brad goes to Exile, Monica will be the surprise guest to help him survive. Coincidentally, she already played. If Exile Island and the guests are separate, it's going to be the ruler of Fiji, Earl Cole. Ooh, Earl Cole.
Oh my gosh, Earl, I would love. I would love it if Earl came, but why would Earl come?
Well, my whole thing is, why would they not?
Why is this happening?
Like, why didn't they just put him on the season?
Wasn't he on the short list for the season? I think Earl and Danny were on the short list.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, if he was on the short list for the season, then why wouldn't they just put him on the season if they could get him at all?
Yeah, I mean, I love Earl. I don't know if Earl would. It wouldn't make sense for him to come back like this. I don't know. I feel like he'd have to come back on like a legend season or something. You're still a little staticky, by the way.
Am I? Okay. Well, I'm so scared if I unplug that we're never gonna hear me.
Do not unplug.
How staticky is it? Is it awful or?
It's pretty staticky.
All right. I'm gonna unplug. It's gonna happen.
Okay, Phil's gonna unplug, and I'm just gonna pull. How you doing? No, I can't hear you. So I'm gonna go to the list of questions and take over until Phil, you come back. How you doing? You seem to be frozen now. Not looking too good. All right, I'm going to open up the comments because Phil has just left me. So let's see. Gamer Girl, if JT were to play Survivor again, which I doubt he will, I think he's done. He'll have to go to Survivor School and take Immunity Idols 101 and many other classes. I mean, he was involved in some idols when he was in Tocantins, and obviously, he had a much better end game in that season than he did in these two. But yeah, you gotta don't give idols to Russell, and also if you have an idol, you should probably take it to Tribal Council. How you doing, Phil? I can hear you.
It's like the dumbest thing ever. I sound staticky. Unplug the microphone. Plug the microphone back in. Unmute myself. Muted. Just muted. Like, nope, you can never hear. It happens every single time this happens. I X out. I come back in. Works fine.
Yeah.
Google's my
This
favorite.
does happen every single time.
Anybody
Well, I'm glad we're doing this new comments thing because now Aziz, like, it's easily acceptable. The comment list was easily accessible, and I read Gamer Girl's third comment. So hopefully I get a cookie.
You did. Oh my God. She's probably so happy.
I hope so.
Did you read the Jessica Maynor one?
I didn't get that far because you came back.
Get that far. You went down too far.
Oh, well, you know what? Maybe you shouldn't have had microphone issues.
Maybe I shouldn't have.
Yeah.
So did you read L.K. Bradshaw?
I did not. I only read that one.
Read that one. Okay, so let's do Tara Stacey, another great podcast. Love Alexa this season. She's the Queen of Survivor podcast. Hope after this season the Queen stays Queen.
Wow, thank you.
So there you go. There's your compliment there. Tara Stacey, too. Tara Stacey's been listening since day one.
She's an OG. Stacey. I appreciate it. She's an OG.
She is. Jessica Maynor. My opinion on Michaela and her aggressive play. She's prideful rather than angry or disrespectful. She can shine now that Malcolm, who admitted to disliking Michaela with JT, has been taken out of the hero and closer position after feeling confidence after digging out the bags in seconds, whereas Ty and Cerise certainly weren't as fast. Michaela is boastful, but she also admits having to be quiet. Malcolm, JT, and Aubrey clearly didn't appreciate her, but Malcolm is the key. With him gone, Michaela's allowed to open up. Plus, she had Sandra with a grudge on her side. Her influence is clearly more powerful than some silly idol, just my opinion.
Wow, that was a lot.
I think that's really good because it's true. I mean, I think she was frustrated by that tribe that she got put on.
I think she was, yeah, I think she absolutely was. Yeah, but I mean, Malcolm didn't like her. JT obviously didn't like her. Aubrey doesn't seem to like her. Malcolm is very cocky. JT can be very cocky. I don't know. She's rubbing a lot of people the wrong way.
She is, and I'm curious how the others on her Mana tribe really felt about her. We got like the early stuff where it was like, she's aggressive, she's loud, she's this, she's that. But I don't know how exactly.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We're probably going to be seeing a lot more of her.
Yeah, for sure. We have, did you just hear that scream? Is that what you were laughing at? And for Widow, Sandra is hands down top 5 best players ever. Anyone would be a fool to even try to argue against that. 2 wins and everything she's already done. She has proved her title, even if she gets voted out next. She's been really great. Ice X says every episode of this season she melts another layer of gold onto her shiny crown.
I don't know. I think there was a comment under that said, who do you put above her? I think ranking players is so difficult. I don't think I could ever do that. But I mean, yeah, she's a top 5 player, but at the same time, who do you put above her? It's a valid question.
I don't know. I really don't know. That's a whole nother podcast, as we like to say sometimes.
To be determined.
We have Dylan Randazzo. What happens with JT's idol since it was left back at camp? Can someone find it in JT's stuff or production, get rid of it, or rehire? I think Jeff answered that, but I forget what he said.
I think they have to take his stuff away, and I think with that they take it away from him, but they always replant it. You know?
They do always replace it.
Yeah. So I think that's what's going to happen.
Okay. Yeah, they'll obviously replace it. I just don't think anybody can find it. I think you're right. Somebody's just going to take it, and that's that. Mm-hmm. Let's see. We have – I keep going back. We have Damian Glenn. JT was the first member of original Nuku tribe to go home. So glad for this tribe swap. I really want Hayley to prosper, and her being down in numbers was getting me worried. Also, Cerise, Ozzy, Andrea, Sarah, and Zeke have all not gone to a single tribal council.
That's crazy. I haven't been to a single tribal council. What's the longest someone has gone? Michelle? She's the longest?
I think so. She didn't go to tribal council until the merge.
Wow. You picked up on that very quickly.
Yeah. I mean, just saying.
Do you like Michelle? I can't tell.
Maybe I do. But yeah, she didn't go to the tribal council. The tribal council where Nick Mariano gets voted was the first time Michelle was in danger.
Wow.
And Keith and Joe, I think, yeah. And then I also think that it was Keith and Joe, Zach Abrams just said from Second Chances too, who also were a very long time.
Yeah, that's a good point. Oh, okay. Good thing we got our answers.
There you go. We have Jeff Lim. Debbie didn't finish the beam right after the second place team finished, and Hayley said you finished that challenge. That was so funny.
That was incredible. So subtle too.
Yeah, it was so funny. Daniel Fogarty says, love the channel, but saying Fishbach annoys me severely. Fishbach. I might have to enunciate it even more. It's Fishback, Fishbach, Fishy. We'll just call him Fishy.
I like Fishy.
It started one way and went another. Let's see here. Okay, so now let me jump over to the ones that actually came in today. Selly11395. Do you think that this new upcoming tribe swap will benefit Sandra or hurt her game?
This hurts her so much. This is I've said pretty much every recap. I'm like, yep, Sandra's going home next week, but I do not see a situation that she escapes.
But Selly also says, imagine her being on a tribe with Ozzy and Sari. Do you think they target her?
I don't think it helps that Ozzy and Sari have spent the first how many days have they been out there? 13, 14?
14 days.
They spent the first 13 days together. That doesn't help Sandra whatsoever.
Exactly. So it's interesting that they've spent so much time together that they might actually work together. But that's a situation where Sandra could be okay because she might be able to convince people, let's get rid of Ozzy or let's get rid of Sari. Or she might even say, let's all work together.
I would love for them to work together. That would be a great group of three.
Yeah, that would be really interesting. Dennis O'Connell, hey guys, here's my reason for the all-star comparisons. Rob and Brad were both early boots, but the main characters during the pre-merge. Both are really liked, but could be cutthroat anytime. Sierra's like Amber because she was the girl who made it far. When they brought her back, people were like, who the hell is she? Troy and Rupert were both the loudest on their seasons, and Ty and Tom were goofy guys who don't know the game well and need a Rob to give them a piggyback ride.
That was funny at the end. They need Rob to give them a piggyback ride. I like that.
So I guess Brad's giving Ty piggyback rides for the end of the season. Something to look forward to.
That sounds adorable. Caleb's going to get jealous.
Yeah, I agree. Poor Caleb not being there. The Real Negro, what do you think Clay Jordan would have done if he was on Debbie's tribe? Clay Jordan just got referenced. And we just referenced Clay Jordan.
I cannot. How many times do you think Clay Jordan has been referenced in the past year? Twice?
That's probably the second time. And one of them was like Thanksgiving dinner at his house.
What was it, Debbie? I feel like Michaela would have gone and strangled him.
I think, Clay would have, I don't even know. Clay Jordan, he's a character, that's for sure. That's what I have to say about Clay Jordan.
We've talked too much about Clay Jordan. Can we please move on?
Exactly. Let's see here. AT&T. Who do you think all the remaining players will vote for? Vote one of the 5 previously voted out players back in, or that the 5 previously voted out players will do a challenge and one gets back in. I don't think they're going to do that. I think they learned their lesson. They didn't really like the way it worked out with the Outcasts. I don't think they do it again. So I don't think it happens.
Really don't think that happens again. Though I didn't watch Pearl Islands when it premiered. How did people react to it?
They liked it. I remember at least watching it with my family. I remember them being like, this isn't fair.
Yeah, no, it's completely unfair.
Yeah. All right, so we have Giovanni Rayana. Game Changers might be the season equivalent of Tony Vlachos, where he just threw a bunch of stuff at the wall to see what sticks. Some of it does, like the idols and swaps. Some don't, like the Joint Tribal Council where Malcolm went out. And there's probably going to even be more twists to come. It's a very interesting comparison. I thought it was funny.
Yeah, I mean, there's gonna be so many twists. It's been a crazy pre-merge.
Yeah, it really has. And then he also asked, do you think Varner and Sandra have a pregame alliance due to being old school players? I don't. I think it's just because they use each other as shields and they get along.
Yeah, I think they absolutely use each other as shields.
I'm going to answer Nippy Ippin's question real quick. I in terms of, am I Will's loved one? How should I answer that, Alexa? Help me answer that question.
Well, Will's not playing, but if he, I don't even, if I say if he was, everyone's gonna think he's on the next season. If he is,
would I be his loved one?
I don't know.
I think I would be in over his
assistant coach. I think Will would bring you.
Exactly. That's very true. If he brought an assistant coach, I have a really good shot at getting in there. No, that's a very good point. And yeah, I mean, Will doesn't actually have any friends. So, I mean, I'm about all he's got.
Will's got absolutely no one except for you.
That's it. All right, so we have ALZ train. The way the game is going, I could easily see Ozzy having a very similar edit to Joe from Second Chance, makes the merge without going to a tribal, then has someone immunity to stay alive. I personally think Ozzy is the best ever challenge-wise. It still is. What do you guys think from what we've seen of his social game? Has improved, and I'm hoping him and Sarit team up. Yeah.
I hope anyone teams up with Sarit so that she stays.
Right? I mean, I do think that Ozzy's in a similar situation to Joe there, though. Huge fan favorite. Obviously going to get a lot of time. Going to get a good edit.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, let's see. We have Amy Tasty Fist. Still love it. Looks like we'll stick with 3 tribes. What would your ideal tribe makeup for these 3 tribes be? It's going to be 2 and then the 1 person at Exile, so we're good with that.
Amy Tasty Fist. I couldn't even hear her question. I was too busy thinking about that name. Ooh,
yeah.
Mike.
Giovanni, Malcolm compared Michaela to Abby Maria. What are your thoughts?
Malcolm to Abby?
No, Malcolm compared
Michaela to Abby. Oof. There must be a lot we're not seeing then.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, he's played with both, so, hey. Well, I don't know. Love to hear what Malcolm has to say when this is all said and done, and he can talk freely. We have Giovanni asks if Debbie, Coach, and Sari and Philip form a circus group. Would you pay to see that? I probably would not.
I honestly probably would.
Yeah, say easy to please Alexa.
How much is the ticket? Do I get like a free beer with it? I feel like that would be a bit of a requirement.
Right. Let's see. We have Aussie girl Emily listening from Australia. Do you think Debbie could get dragged to the end as a goat, or will she be annoying to live with like Abby Maria? I think she's going to get voted out. I don't think they're going to take her to the end.
Oh my God! You were just an hour ago. You were telling me that they're.
I'm worried, but I don't think they will. I'm worried, but I don't think they will.
This was my idea first.
Just saying. I'm worried, but I don't think it'll happen.
Oh my gosh, you're the worst.
I'm not doing anything wrong. See this? You don't even listen. You know, this is the problem.
You are turning this around on me. I don't listen because I can't hear you because your mic doesn't work half the time.
Oh, that's what it is. Mrs. Drop her mic. Well, I'm going to go back and just listen to that one podcast for an hour. Moving on. Let's see. We have ALZ train. Phil, are you starting to get worried about paying the $250 to Will if Brad wins? He's been getting a good edit. Remember, I wanted to do Troyzan, but I wanted to do somebody for my team, and Will was like, oh, I'll only give you 10-1 odds on Troyzan. Like, Will rigged it because that's what Will does.
We should have snaked the draft.
You know what I'll do? He always would rip on me and be like, Phil reads spoilers, which I don't. But if Brad wins, we're saying that Will read spoilers, and maybe the whole thing's just moot, you know?
This whole thing is rigged.
Yeah, exactly, because Will read spoilers. Let's see. We have you think at the reunion Debbie is going to say she had a bad edit. Also agreeing with Phil Go Varner. Ooh, that's interesting. How do you think Debbie's reacting to this?
I mean, she does have a bad edit.
Yeah.
I don't know. I saw something on Reddit, and because everyone's got everything to say about Debbie, and this was a co-wrong secret scene, but it was this really emotional scene with Debbie, and she was talking about how her daughters are so proud of her, and she started crying, and it was really emotional, and it was really heavy, and it's hard. I think you said this on the last podcast, but does Debbie watch this episode? How does she watch this? How does she sit with her family and watch this? It must be so hard for her, and it's scenes like this that make you realize these are human beings who are on national television, and they got a big group of family and friends watching them, and this happens. It's heartbreaking.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, that, like I said, it was uncomfortable, and then and then you just go right over to JT being ripped apart for just being JT. So anyway, we have let's see here. We have Alexa is better than Phil and Will. Please don't fire Alexa when Will comes back. Phil, don't shave your beard. My question is, do you think Sierra will make it to Final 3 this time? What are her chances, and do you think she can win? Thanks and love you guys. do you think Sierra can win this game?
I have a far more important question. If there's a possibility of me getting fired, does that mean I'm getting paid for this?
I know, right? Well, hey, April 1st just hit. It's amazing. It's amazing. You know, you text Will all the time because, you know, this is all hooked up through his account. So you text him all the time and the YouTube shit comes in and, you know, you hear from him all the time. All of a sudden it's YouTube payday and you don't hear from Will for 48 hours. So who knows what's going on?
I don't know. Let's keep throwing Will under the bus though. Yes, Sierra could totally win. I think she's playing a really great game.
Yeah, no, I think so too. I think Sierra's in one of the better positions right now. So let's see. We will see, but I really do. I think Sierra could easily make the final 3. She's set up pretty well. I almost fear that Sierra might get the Wentworth though, where people start to pick up on the fact that she can win the game.
What was that beep thing? Uh-oh. How you doing, Phil? Oh, there you are.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, there was some weird beep. Anyways. Oh my gosh. But you're comparing anyone to Kelly Wentworth. I could talk about Kelly Wentworth for 17 hours. But yeah, I don't think she will, at least right now she's not as obvious of a threat as Kelly was.
Yeah. She hasn't played as much yet. So we'll see. We'll see going down the line. Johnny Talk Sports. Do you think that maybe the person going to Exile is visited by someone from their season? Like, for instance, Andrea, Boston Rob, Zeke, David, Troy Zan Kim, Sandra, Russell, Aubrey, someone named Michelle. Just some examples. If that's the case, hopefully Aubrey's getting sent, you know, because that's what we all want. But I don't think
give
so.
The
I think
people what they want.
Yeah, right. I think they only have one person planned for this, though. I don't think they would fly out too many people like this.
Yeah, because then if your counterpart doesn't get sent, then why did you come?
Yeah. No, exactly. So, and especially with like, they have to like pay these people for like appearances at this point, like whatever, you know what I mean? Like they have to do more. So I don't think that they would get all these people like pumped and then just be like, oh, sorry, you know, winner of Survivor Co-Wrong, you're not allowed to come back. We just flew you out here. Now go back to your life. Thanks for taking the week off.
Yeah. we paid for it, but leave.
Yeah, exactly. Jason Obermeyer, Sandra's great, pitting JT and Michaela against each other, took the target off her back. Now she perfectly summed up Ty. How would Ty, of all people, know how to play the idol? That was a great line. Rewatching the episode was so funny. Like when, like, just listen, she says that twice.
Yeah, it's incredible. I rewatched it yesterday and it was a great episode.
Yeah. Gamer Girl, why little to no water challenges? That's something my mother is wondering. And do you think we'll see the gross food eating challenge this season? Cambodia had one. Jeff pretty much has said he doesn't want to ever do gross food eating challenges again, I'm pretty sure.
I love the gross food eating challenge.
Yeah, but I think Jeff hates them because they're not very visual. Like they're visual, but like you can't like actively be a part of it. Jeff wants to like be a part of these like puzzles and all that fun stuff.
Oh, like Jeff. See, I feel like the viewer is a part of it, but Jeff wants to tell someone.
Well, and Jeff wants the viewer to like have a say. That's why they love doing the puzzles, like where it's like spell something out or do this. Like you can actively follow along with like eating something. It's just kind of like eat it.
Yeah, I guess so. I want the more so than the gross food eating. I want the auction back, but unless they severely alter that, that's never coming back.
Yeah, we're never getting it again.
It's so sad.
But why no water challenges? I mean, we've had a pretty good amount of water challenges, haven't we? We've had them swim out like 3 times already, I think.
The most recent challenge was on an island, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, that one wasn't in water, but I remember like the first Hayley's challenge where she swam against Ozzy, that was in the water. They had the cage one where Varner's hanging off the thing, that was in water. I mean, there's definitely water in play. It's just like not deep water.
Yeah, I feel like water challenges are also, they could happen in the merge too. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's a good observation.
Yeah. And then Amy Tasty Fist with not the last one, but what would your ideal teams for the 2 tribes be? Ozzy, Suri, and Sandra on the same tribe would be amazeballs. I just want a tribe that allows around a little bit, you know, like that's what I really want.
It allows what?
Varner to hang out a little bit.
I think he's not in the worst position.
No. But yeah, I would love to see like Sandra and Cerebi on the same tribe. We've never seen that. They were on the same season, but they didn't actually do anything together. So it would definitely be cool to see them like play together.
Yeah, that I would really like to see that.
Could happen. Could happen. All right. We have Jar Jar Minks. Has Alexa ever sent in an audition tape? If you did, what did you do in it?
I actually haven't sent in an audition tape. I had one filmed. I had a script made that I sent to you, Phil, and I don't know if you ever read it, but I sent it to you.
I can't read.
Yeah, well, I spoke it over the phone to you. And I was going to follow through on editing it and making it a tape, but then you and I went to the casting call and I hedged my bets there and didn't get casted. So maybe I should get the video.
Lost.
You lost too.
Yeah. Yeah, we lose. We're losers.
We are so bad.
That's how we end this too, by the way. That's our last comment.
That was a good question. Yeah, I know. I don't know. All I'm reading about is Chris eating dog poop. I don't think I can do that. I really don't think I have it in me.
I just know like I would eat the dog poop and they would just be like, screw it.
Yeah.
Forget this guy.
I have a couple ideas,
He
but
looks
I
like
don't want
someone who would eat
to.
dog poop.
I have a couple ideas, but I don't want to put them on this podcast because I don't want anyone to steal my idea.
You don't want anybody to steal them. Exactly.
Yeah, I don't trust anyone.
The guy who, when Will and I went to that, what do you call it? That Survivor thing, the EW Pop Fest. The guy who filmed that works in like reality TV casting. So I've like pretended I'm like really good friends with him. I'm like, come on, man. Like I was like, hold my phone, do this. I'm on his like dodgeball team. I try to be like really nice to him. I hope he's listening to this. He never makes it more than 5 minutes into our podcast, but yeah, so I'm trying to be really nice to him.
Wow. Well, you have just spoiled your plans.
All right. And Chef, I see you, Chef, but we don't answer in the group chat thing. We already went over the boot list. We did all that and I can't, and then the other question everybody's asking and I just keep on ignoring. So moving on, that's it for our predictions and power rankings.
Don't even ask the question. I love it. Yeah. We're not going to answer it.
I love it. I'm having so much fun. Alexa blatantly comes out in the middle of this episode and goes, well, Will is not on the show. And everybody's just like, asking 1,000 times. It's like, can't we just have it like where we appreciate Alexa and like Will just like really can't do it right now? Isn't that okay?
No one appreciates me until who knows, maybe I disappear and then maybe it's me who gets casted. I don't know.
Yeah, right. The age of conspiracy theories, huh?
I know. What a time to be alive.
I know. Yeah, that's it.
All right. Can I do my segue? Because last time I did a segue, you really stole my thunder.
Yeah, no, go roll.
All right. Well, now that there's a spotlight on me, subscribe to us on YouTube. Give us a follow on Twitter at Phil and Will. Give us a follow on iTunes. Give us 5 stars. If you want your comments read, put them on this week's YouTube video, and we will read it on the next on our next podcast. And then tweet at us too, because we'll read Twitter comments too. And we will be back Wednesday night after the episode.
Of course. Can't wait to be there. And hopefully we see Michelle again.